people change for two reasons. They either change because they have something so attractive ahead of them that they realize that in order to be that, they have to make a change. Or they're in so much pain from their circumstance and from the decisions that they've made up until that point that they say, I can't live like that another day, I gotta make a change.
Anyone can reinvent themselves at any point in their life. And I know that I needed more and I needed to be better. Like if my client has a bad sales month, that hits me in the gut. You know what I mean? I'm figuring out, I take it personally. This is.
Body language of a conversation is 55%. The tone of voice is 38%. And then the words that are spoken are 7%.
Take the time now to create a short, catchy statement about what you specialize in or your expertise you can provide will help you to quit.
People looked up to him, the frontline workers, because he would sit and he would listen. And when he listened to you, he wouldn't be doing nothing else. He sat there and his focus was on you.
And be intentional. I can't emphasize that enough. Branding yourself is being intentional. Branding yourself is living an intentional life. Branding yourself is taking control of your life.
Because sometimes you're talking to people and you just can't quite get across because what you think you're saying and what people are hearing is two different things.
Did you know that 50% of our attendees actually said they were not confident in networking? Maybe you can relate. Whether or not you were one of the people at the last networking workshop who said you were top of your game, ready for the next opportunity, or whether you're one of the people who said you were just getting started, there's always an area for opportunity. Why? Why does that even matter? Because 80% of professionals elevate their career via professional networking. That's why we're getting you to this point right now. Look, we've taken you through a logical flow over the last Bridge to Brilliance seminars. We started with Donald Jakovsky, intentional listening. We came to Robert Royer on how to brand yourself intentionally. And we've actually had Diane Claim on the stage, American Businesswoman of the Year, on how to network to success. We've all focused on how to help you have your breakthrough so that you can be here right now, learning how to mentor, learning how to have a breakthrough in your life. And today we're kicking off a mentorship series. That means you get access to a mentorship program right at UHV through Handshake. But stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I want to say thank you so much for being here, and a special thank you to our breakthrough sponsor, Building Brands Marketing. That's right, Robert Royer, founder and president of Building Brands Marketing, is donating $10 gift cards to Ventura's Tamales. I mean, come on. Who doesn't love Ventura's Tamales? Last time, Judy Bolinas, Angela Nalonzi, and Stephanie Luna all won a gift card. Who's going to win today? You need to participate to be able to win. So if you're ready for your breakthrough, I want you to get ready. I want you to think about what questions you want to ask the people you've seen on screen, because today you're in for a treat. We are actually doing a panel format. And if you've got questions, if you have things that are burning on your heart to help you get your breakthrough, I want you to, in Teams, raise your hand and drop that question in chat. There might even be an opportunity for you to turn on your camera and talk to the panel directly. So without further ado, it's time for the main event. I'm Crystal Lindsay, and I want to hand it off to the one, the only, Dr. Aaron Deason, communications professor at University of Houston, Victoria, also known as Dr. D. Dr. D, tell us how we're going to do this today.
Crystal, I'm really excited because, we had some great ideas and great things presented in the spring and the fall. And we want to recap those days. So what we're going to do is we figured it out that there's two main things we're going to talk about. The first, we're going to have two different panels, and the people who presented it and our community members who are part of that group are going to answer some questions. So we're going to spend about 15, 20 minutes with each panel. And the thing is, when you have a question, because somebody will, drop it over in the chat. I'll be able to ask it to the expert panelists. So here we go. Our first panel comes from our intentional listening and our brand and our personal branding. Let's start it off with, let's go. I forgot who's first. Oh, yeah. Hunter Follett. Hunter Follett, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're part of this panel.
Hey, Aaron. I am the Chief Executive Officer down at Tejas Production Services in Victoria. I also serve as the chair of the advisory board of the UHV Business School, as well as an advisor to the White House on criminal justice reform. I guess the reason I'm here and what gets me excited about the whole concept of Bridge to Brilliance is I really get excited about listen, life is about acquiring tools and then having those tools when you need them, right? I mean, somebody who has to figure out how a rocket gets to the moon needs to have the tools of calculus and physics and all that, right? Well, somebody who wants to be successful and energized in life needs to have some of the tools that Bridge to Brilliance is bringing to you, whether that's networking, whether it's communication and mirroring, or otherwise. And I guess the reason I'm here, the reason that I participate with what we put on here is I just think if we can help put the tool, if I can help to give people a toolkit at the age that our students are at, it can give them a head start to their next steps in life. And so with that, I think I'm going to introduce Donald Jakovsky.
All right. Hunter, thank you very much for giving that introduction. If you want to see the Energizer Bunny, you follow Hunter Follett around. He is amazing. Hey, well, listen, my name is Donald Chakowski, and I'm the director of the UHV Center for Regional Collaboration, and I'm also president of my own life coaching company called Lighthouse Developmental Resources. And today we're going to be talking about intentional listening. And the intentional listening part, what's so interesting about that is that the lack of proper communication leads to lack of understanding, which causes problems in our personal life and in our professional life and in the world today. And when we talk about communication, we always just think about the talking portion. We don't think about the listening portion. And there was a reason that we was given 2 ears and 1 mouth. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But now I want to head it to another awesome individual. He rocks. Robert Royer.
Gotta unmute it, Robert.
Otherwise, I get to voice over for you, Robert. I'll do your voiceover.
Donald, thank you so much. I'm sorry about that. Donald, appreciate it. My name is Robert Royer. I'm founder and president of Building Brands Marketing. I serve on the Dean of School of Business Administration Dean's Advisory Board as well. Excited to be here with a great group of people today and learn from these individuals and learn from the questions that come to today's panel. You know, every success I've achieved in life has been through great relationship building, and I know it's pivotal to success. And I presented on personal branding last semester. So I'm excited to be with this great panel today and learn more. And with that being said, I'll pass it off to the one, the only, Crystal Lindsay.
Hey y'all, I'm Crystal Lindsay, and what you may not know about me is that I'm author of Grit and Gratitude. I'm also a public speaker, digital marketing lead here at the Victoria Advocate. I sit on the board of the Dean's Advisory Board, and I'm super passionate about helping people find their breakthrough, right? I co-founded the Fostered, a nonprofit here in Victoria, Texas, and I'm committed to helping foster youth be able to break through and become their best self. Now, not just any foster youth, but children of trauma, whether you're being a survivor or whether you're an entrepreneur, you got to put on the right hat every day and put your best self forward. So that's what I do. I specialize in helping people with the skills of grit and gratitude, how to step in their best self, show up fully, shine bright, and win people over. That's what this is about. So I'm so excited to be on the panel for intentional listening and personal branding and help you step into your best self. Hopefully you get a nugget today.
See, I told y'all I wasn't lying. We have a great panel. And so, Donald, what is intentional listening?
Okay, intentional listening is most of the times when people are listening, they're listening with their brain thinking of, how am I going to reply? And if your brain is thinking how you're going to reply, your brain is not absorbing what is coming in, what input is coming in. So when intentional listening is listening actually, with not thinking about replying, just your mind open to what is being said. And it's really interesting, something with intentional listening people don't understand a lot of time is they think it's just about the listening portion. And it's not. Intentional listening includes a lot more. Like intentional listening, it's interesting, in a conversation, only 7% is verbal, is what is said. 38% is vocal. It's the tone of the voice you use, but 55% comes from the visual, from the body language. How are you standing? Are your arms crossed? Are you slumping? So all of that together. But what's really interesting is that 93% of communication is nonverbal. It's the voice and it's the body language.
Say that again. Say that again, Donald.
Okay, what is interesting is that 93% of communication and listening is in communication is nonverbal, 93%. And that 93%, that's 38% of being the tone of voice you're using, and 55% being your body language. And, you know, are you slumping over? Are you looking down? Or watch somebody, when you talk to them, really watch the person, and you get so much about what's going on by just the body language and the tone of the voice. There's a, you know, and Robert said it earlier when he said it's about relationship building. You know, people love to talk about themselves. So listen to them and intentionally listen to learn, you know, don't listen to reply. And I love it. There's a book by Dale Carnegie. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's got a quote there. It says about Henry Ford, where he says, if there is one secret of success, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own. And the only way you can do that is through intentional listening.
I like that, Donna. I like that. It's through intentional listening. So panel, what he told us kind of when he set the groundwork. What is the hardest part of intentional listening, y'all? One thing.
Maybe I can just comment on this just briefly, Aaron. The FBI is really keen on listening. They listen to everything you say. In fact, they when they have something that they need to listen to, like for instance, if they're negotiating a hostage situation, they actually have 5 people whose only job it is to listen to different elements. Right? One guy whose only job it is to listen by paying attention to body language. One guy who's just looking for the words. One guy who's looking for hidden meanings. Right? It just goes to say that people who are literally professional negotiators, it takes 5 of them to listen, right? And again, the way I like to think about listening and why it's so important, I like to think of this. I love this word, tactical empathy. Right? Yes. It's the idea of like, how can I get inside the mind of who's communicating with me? And use it towards my malicious intentions, or maybe my well intentions or good intentions. But there's a book that I highly recommend called Never Split the Difference, written by an FBI negotiator. That is just basically about like tactical listening and how can you listen more effectively to get more of what you want.
Exactly.
Wait, so tactical, I like that. Tactical. What do y'all think? I don't know, Robert. Tactical? That seems kind of like targeted versus just kind of like wanting to listen.
Well, there can be a simple formula for it, right? I mean, way back another career ago, I was a financial aid counselor and they sent me to an intentional listening workshop. Go figure, right? People are crying in your office because they can't afford the school. And I need to intentionally listen on how I can support them and what's really going on. But I remember in the moment, like, really an intentional listening. How are you going to teach me how to do this? And the formula became really simple, honestly. You listen to what somebody says, and you identify the emotion that they're feeling or expressing, and summarize what they're saying and say it back to them. And the interesting thing that we learned in this training, where we just role played this process again and again, is that when you do it correctly, people are like a jack in the box, where you wind it up and then they pop up. And when you say it right, you say, wow, you must be really scared right now because that thing's happening to you. I am scared, and this thing is happening, and they tell you all this more stuff that's going on in their life. So I just find it fascinating that when you use tactical empathy by intentionally listening and identifying how they're feeling, and you say, wow, that sounds really stressful. Even if you just say that sounds really stressful, they'll keep telling you more and more. So that I found fascinating, in that oversimplified version of everything that Donald just shared, is identify how somebody's feeling and summarize what they just said, and they will just keep telling you more and more stuff. And it's interesting what happens, because you think that people trust you when you share something about yourself to, be vulnerable. But really, psychology shows that people trust you when they share something about themselves. So by getting somebody talking about themselves and how they're feeling and all of that, even if you said nothing about who you are and what you do, they leave that experience feeling like they trust you and want to talk to you more. So tactical empathy is absolutely essential.
Crystal, that's so important, because you're right. As a life coach, I listen to people and they'll tell me something, and what we say and what somebody hears a lot of times is 2 different things. So I'll paraphrase it back to them and say, well, okay, I heard you say this. And they'll say, wow, I never thought of it that way, but it came from them. So it's that listening and then paraphrasing back to them what they said. And like you said, using the emotions, that really has a huge impact.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard this phrase, Aaron, but just one more comment on the subject. This is one of my favorite phrases right up there with tactical empathy, and I think it comes from effective listening, but then also effective paraphrasing. It's okay. It's the subtle art of letting other people have your way.
What? You know, that Hunter, that fits perfectly with the Jedi mind tricks you were talking about. I was like, so think about this. How has intentional listening helped you in your careers?
You know how,
I'll give you a quick example, Aaron. So just I was at a wedding a couple months back, or I guess maybe 2 years back, and at this wedding, I ran into a guest, and again, I think one of the things that I highly recommend when you first meet somebody is how do you find common ground with that person, right? So I'm looking for common ground, and it comes up that he's really passionate about criminal justice reform. He likes helping people with the formerly incarcerated find a job. Well, I run a manufacturing facility. A lot of our employees are formerly incarcerated. So we start to talk, right? And this sort of evolves into again, me sort of hearing more about him talking about criminal justice reform, us resonating with each other, right? Me sort of listening. And I listened to him so far and paraphrased enough to him. He was like, wow, it seems like you're an expert on criminal justice reform. Would you like to fly with me to the White House next week to speak with Jared Kushner and the president about criminal justice reform? To which I said, absolutely. And again, I literally just listened him into asking me to do it, right? I mean, it's just a matter of paraphrasing and sort of it builds rapport with the other party, and also you're going to learn a lot more by listening.
Sure, that it helped me when I was young and worked for a manager, and he was an awesome leader. People just swarmed him. And I always wondered what made him. So I watched every move he made. He was my mentor. I mean, I just watched what he did. And we would go into a meeting sometime with the real high executives, and he'd walk out and he says, "Hey, Donald, what did you hear him say?" So I would say, "Well, I heard him say this. He says, "Yeah, but they also said this, and this." And I says, "Wow, I didn't hear that." But he was listening, not only what they were saying, but the larger problem. And he was known throughout. So through my career as a manager, I always wanted to do the same thing, was listen. And when you listen, don't be trying to send an email. Don't be trying to look at your cell phone. Don't be trying to do anything. Actually focus, look that person in the eye and listen to what they're truly saying. And it's unreal how the power that has by doing that. And then and then also as the director of the Center for Regional Collaboration, we're trying to get all these communities around Victoria to collaborate together. Well, how do you do that? It's not Donald Joukowsky going in and talking to them. It's Donald Joukowsky going in and listening to them. And it's just, the power of listening is just amazing.
That's really, I like that, because as we listen, it seems like as we listen to people, as Hunter said, that we start to find who we are. And that kind of leads us to what Robert, I'm glad he left but rejoined us, because Robert, otherwise I'm in trouble here. What is this? How do we apply intentional listening to personal branding?
That's a great question, Aaron. So a brand is the impression people form based on the experiences they have with you. And more specifically, your personal brand is going to be basically how you promote yourself. It's the unique combination of the skills, the experience, the personality that you utilize, and how you want the world to see you. It's the telling of your story. It reflects your conduct, your behavior, your character, the spoken and unspoken words, attitudes, and more, all of those things, And a strong personal brand can support your aspirations as well as the success of any other organization you work with, because it's so critical to everything you do. And that's why it's important to be aware of your personal brand at any point in your career, anybody at any point in their career, because it affects how people view you and your organization. And I can tell you, just looking at the people on this panel, the people in this group, in the UHV community, they've all put a special emphasis on their personal brand. And that's what's allowed them to reach so much success in their career, because we have to be cognizant of how we present ourselves. We have to be what we want to be. We have to act like what we want to be, in every form or fashion of life, not just in your career, but personally as well.
I like that. I like that whole bunch. So panel, he gave us a great definition. So what is your brand? Anybody?
Crystal.
I was like, no, I'm going to shamelessly.
Yeah, we're waiting on it, Crystal. We're waiting on it.
I am grit
It's
and
available in the lobby for $12.99.
For people who have suffered childhood trauma. And it's something that, yes, I'm a marketer by day and I listen and I pour into businesses and I'm passionate about helping people grow businesses. But my personal brand is that I help people with grit and gratitude. I help people shine intentionally in this world. I help people live intentionally, whether or not it's in your business or your personal life. There are things you can do every single day that optimizes your mind and your body. And that is my brand, is that I show up fully, I shine bright, I don't know how not to, and I inspire others to shine bright and be their best self. That is my brand.
I found my personal branding. I found it through having to identify my purpose. Kind of like Robert said, it's like everything you do, you breathe, you eat. Crystal, her purpose is, in helping with the foster youth and that. And mine was providing guidance for others to succeed. That was my personal brand is being a life coach. I love to listen to people, but my purpose is just providing guidance for others to succeed. And I do that by listening and helping and coaching them to move to the next level. So Robert, Crystal, exactly what y'all said.
I like that. So we're about time to wrap this up. And we have a question from the audience. Is my personal brand the same as my major?
No, your personal brand is not. We love the Jedi mind tricks. So your personal brand is not necessarily the same thing as your major. Just because you have a skill or a trade or an area of focus doesn't necessarily mean that directly has to be your personal brand in the direction of your personal brand. Me, much like Donald, my personal brand is about providing guidance to others, and providing for others, whether it be my employees, whether it be my colleagues, whether it be businesses I work with, providing for them the knowledge they need to expand and grow their revenue, or if it's my kids, and my major is business administration with a concentration in marketing. And yeah, that helps me serve my bigger purpose to a certain degree. It's one component of my entire focus, my entire personal brand. It's just one thing that I specialize in that helps me be a better asset to those people that I work with.
Hold on. It's just one? Can we have multiple brands?
Well, my major would be one component. Now, yeah, you could have multiple brands. I mean, Hunter Follett has about 20 of them. I mean, this dude's a serial entrepreneur, But yeah, it's one component of my personal brand.
Aaron, let me just add something here, because I want to make sure the students understand what we want you to get out of this. I want you guys to understand that when you're approaching somebody in a professional context or even a personal context, try putting yourself in their shoes and understand sort of what they're seeing, right? And we're trying to get you to do that, to say, what does somebody else see when they see me? Well, they don't just see, oh, it's another finance major. I need a finance person. Let me just hire him. No, they see, is this somebody who is coming to me out of, like the other people come to me all the time, say, hey, I've got a degree in finance. Hire me to do finance for you. That's just not how it works, right? What we're encouraging people to do is to say, hey, again, I want to find somebody whose personal brand is to solve problems, right? And maybe they're solving financial problems because they have a background in finance. And maybe they've solved financial problems before because of their internship. And maybe they've done research about my company, so they seemed informed and they like solving problems they're informed about. All of that contributes to, like, what do I see when somebody approaches me? It's the context that they give me about what they're trying to communicate and the outcome they're trying to achieve. That's the brand that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's being intentional. Absolutely. But Hunter, I can't not ask you to share your brand. I mean, this man right here is the most interesting man I know. I want to know what is your brand, Hunter? Share it with us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure I could put it in a sentence, but let me take a crack. Here's what I'll tell you is, I realized several years back, I was looking around, and you guys may have seen this too. And again, something we never talk about, but I mean, like 2% of people are living life at like a higher level, right? 2% of people are just like sizzling with electricity in everything they do. And I saw this and I was like, man, what do these guys have figured out that I don't, right? Like, how do I sizzle with electricity like some of these people? Like, you see it, maybe you see them on on TV, like Jimmy Fallon or something. You see people that just like everything that they approach, they have a little energy. And so that's the brand I've tried to build for myself. I've tried to build a brand for myself of I'm somebody who, when you're around, we're going to be doing electric stuff, right? Like you're going to be feeling electric. And again, if I think about sort of what my goal is, right? My goal in life is to feel electric, right? To enjoy the journey as well, right? To enjoy the journey along to those times when I feel electric, but also to enable and inspire others to feel that way as well. So I really look at myself around somebody who's just adding energy, positive energy to a situation. Either that's positive energy towards solving a problem, or positive energy towards bringing up the mood and attitude in the room.
Wow. Crystal, you had some final words. I see it. I see it.
No, I was just saying, I see the sizzle. I couldn't have summed it up better. You brought it. Thank you, Hunter. That was so powerful.
Panel, I want to thank you. I want to thank you because I think we got some great ideas here for intentional listening. We got some great ideas about how to apply the personal branding. I want to thank y'all so much. And now we're going to switch over to our next panel. And Kyle, go ahead, turn on your camera so we can hear your awesomeness. And tell us why you're on the panel for networking and mentorship.
Guys, I'm so happy to be here. How about those solid superstars there in the first panel? I mean, there's a bunch of them here. So my name's Kyle Motal. I'm a finance major at UHV, also a digital marketing assistant at the Victoria Advocate. And I'm just, I just want to give people a spark of confidence so they can break through that wall that's been holding them back and get over that threshold so they can complete their journey if they so want to. And it's there. It's right there for you. And so I'm going to introduce Miss Diane Kleem. Diane, you're muted.
Diane's with us today to talk about technology use in the workplace.
It's that little microphone button there at the bottom of the screen. It should pop up.
Might be on the top bar, the top toolbar. We could introduce Terry and come back to Diane.
And so we're going to go ahead and introduce Miss Terry Moten.
Well, hello, I am Terry Moten, and I am a business growth strategist. I am also known as your business problem solver. I'm a UHV alumni, and I'm also on the board for the UHV School of Business Dean's Advisory Board. One of the reasons I'm here and I'm excited to be here is because networking and mentorship have meant so much to me in my career, in my personal and professional development. I just want to be able to provide some nuggets for you all that can truly help you turn that mentoring and networking to make sure it just strategically makes your trajectory on your performance moving forward. Just be able to be blown out of the roof.
I like that. Because sometimes when technology doesn't work, we get someone else to. It takes a teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So,
that it is.
All right. So while we're waiting for Dan to join us, well, shoot. I guess here's the question. As we're doing this, how would you define networking? Oh, never mind. Here's Diane.
I think
She's
I'm
back
on.
with us. Yay. All right, so go ahead.
Sorry, guys.
Diane.
Actually, I am a badass lawyer, even if I can't do this. My name is Diane Kleem. I have a law firm here in town. I'm an attorney with Kleem & Associates. My husband and I have a small construction company. I'm a UHV alumni. And I'm here today to hope to, like I said, I guess my brand is I want to be a great lawyer, a badass lawyer. But my bigger deal is I want to educate people. I want to inspire people because I've overcome a lot of hurdles. I feel a lot of the same grit and gratitude that Crystal feels in overcoming things and achieving things. So I hope to inspire somebody and educate somebody today.
So I'm really excited about this. We have Kyle, we have Terry, we have Diane. And Diane, whenever you talk to us, you gave us some great tips a couple of months ago whenever you did the networking. So help us again remember what networking means. What does it mean?
I'm going to give the definition and then I'm going to tell you how I define it, which makes it a little broader. You know, the real definition is interacting with others to exchange info and develop professional or social contacts. For me, it's interacting with others to enhance or improve your life. Enhance or improve your life could be, who do I call? I've got a problem. Who do I call? I want to take a great vacation. Who do I want to take a vacation with? Who do I want to learn something about today or from somebody today? And how can I help somebody else? I want them to be able to reach out to me. So I think it's interacting with others to enhance and improve your life.
I like that. Because whenever I see people, okay, y'all might not believe this, I'm an introvert. I am loving this COVID thing. I love sitting at the house. I love it. It's wonderful. I don't even like my cat. That's how much an introvert I am. And so sometimes when I get in social situations, and I know other people might have this challenge. So when you have to be there because you got to be, what are some questions you can ask when you meet someone new, y'all? What are some questions we can ask?
You know, you always try to make it about them. I think you open that door because, as they've already said, people like talking about themselves. So, you know, you want to kind of find some common ground. You know, if I see somebody wearing a Texas Tech shirt, maybe we'll have a conversation about Red Raider football, if I know something about that at the time. Maybe if they're wearing the color purple, I tell them that's my favorite color. When did it become your favorite color? Or a lot of times it'll be a real common question like, tell me what you like to do for fun, just to open that door to see if there's some common ground.
And I'll jump in and actually extend it a little bit. So once you've kind of had some of the common ground, like Diane talked about, give some great questions on how you can open that door. One of the things you can do to take it a little bit further, kind of a next step, one of the questions I like to ask is, so tell me, what are you doing right now? What project are you working on that you're excited about, that just really gets you excited? Because what I have found, and I never would have believed this, when I was a student, but in my working life, I have found many times people may be doing something occupationally they may or may not be excited about, but they may have other projects that they're working on that I would really want to know about. And I could be a benefit to them and they could be a benefit to me if I hear about what's exciting. And like Diane said, people like to talk about themselves. Well, we all like to talk about things that excite us. So that's just an easy question that you can ask once you've started to develop some rapport. Ask them, what are they working on that they're most excited about?
I love that, because that definitely brings to the point of being an intentional listener when you're talking to someone and finding those subtle categories or movements, whatever it is, to find that common ground in between each other. So you can bounce back different ideas and whatnot. And so you can have complete communication and not to overthink things. I mean, it's simple. Just have a simple question of how you can connect with someone. Mm-hmm. Just anything that you notice about them where you can have a great conversation.
So years ago, somebody told me this. It's like, you got to have a common interest, but then you have to build out that relationship of trust, because eventually we're going to need these people to help us find the best professors, to find, the best mechanics. And that's almost like tactical, not empathy, tactical listening, tactical networking. But what, Kim, is networking good like that, or is that kind of self-serving?
And Dr. Deason, you hit the nail on the head. It really is about relationship. When you're networking, what you want to do is, it's not, and I think Diane mentioned it earlier, it's not just about what you get out of it. It's kind of it's a give and take. Not only what can you get, but what can you give? How can you give to somebody else? But you really have no clue the different relationships that you can build now, as students or someone who may be early on in your career. You don't know how those relationships come full circle 5, 10, 15 years from now. But because you developed that relationship, now different doors can be open for you, or you can open doors for somebody else. So you absolutely want to make sure that you are going about it in terms of building a relationship. And just like Kyle said, don't overthink it. You know, you're simply having a conversation with someone to be able to build a relationship.
You know what I love, Diane and Terry, y'all both said it. Y'all said about asking the questions, and both of y'all had said that, like open-ended questions, like to get people to talking. You know, don't ask them like a yes or no answer. Like Terry, you were saying, ask them about, well, what is your project you're working on? Diane, you said the same thing too, asking those open-ended questions, and then like Kyle said, intentional listening when you ask those open-ended questions. Awesome.
Wait to tie your stuff back in there, Donald. Wait, so you're saying that intentional listening and personal branding fit with mentoring?
Yep.
And networking?
Yes.
Huh. So here's a question. Nope, that's not a question. Never mind. That was the Jedi mind tricks on me again. So what do you think, Kyle? I mean, you know, you're just a student. How has the network helped you?
Yeah, using networking is definitely one of those things where once you start networking with people, you start realizing there's a web of connections. And, you know, the person that you meet, they introduce you to someone else, and then that person will introduce you to someone else to try to help you find your need or want that you most willing want. And so networking has helped me with this very forum. Once I started, I just had to say yes, and be involved with Bridge to Brilliance has really exceeded my expectations as I got to meet Terry and Hunter and Crystal, and it led me to this desk that I'm at right now, being digital marketing assistant. And so you can do it. All you got to do is say yes and overcome your fears and start being comfortable at being uncomfortable. Start getting out there and doing your best, because it's in you, and we're all here for you.
Hold on. You said what? Use your fear to overcome your fear, and I got a whole bunch of thumbs up. Come on, y'all. How does that fit with the networking to overcome that fear?
Well, for most people, networking is uncomfortable, but it's like anything else. The more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. You know, if you ran every day, running would be easy. For somebody like me who doesn't run every day, it would be hard. So networking kind of works the same way. You know, and you do have to be open, like Terry said, to it being a mutual type situation. Because
hey, Aaron, maybe I could add just a couple quick points here. I realize I'm from a different panel, but I just had a couple thoughts that might be helpful. You know, one is you know, I think it's been said a couple times, but you know, as you look to network, as you look to build your relationships, you know, no, I never respond well when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, can you give me this? Right? Can you give me a job? Can you give me? Can you be my mentor? Can you give me an hour a week to let me bounce ideas off you?" Hey, I got a lot of stuff going on. What I do respond well to is somebody coming to me and saying, "Hey, I've got this vision, right? And man, you know, here's a way I can help you. Could you give me this, right?" And Kyle actually did a great sort of. Kyle is like an amazing networker, right? Like I met Kyle through this Bridge to Brilliance work, and somehow Kyle managed to just add so much value to this program week in and week out that he sort of. I started to think, who is this guy? So when he reached out to say, "Hey, Hunter, can we have lunch?" It was so easy for me to be like, absolutely. He said, "Hey, I'd like to sort of interview you about what you do and sort of tell you about what I'm doing and just get to know you a little better." I was like, "Kyle, of course, I'd love to hear. Like, I'd love to soft sound that with you." He wasn't asking, "Hey, can you be my mentor and tell me what to do with my life?" Because I have no idea. He was asking me, saying, "Hey, I want to interview you. Ask you what makes you feel electric about your job, what you like Tara was recommending." And then I want to say, "Hey, here's some things that I'm doing." It created a space for me to be able to say, "Oh, let me look at what you're doing and see how I might be able to be helpful. Have you talked to this person? Have you considered this?" And so he got me to sort of be his yeoman for him, right? To go out and say, "Hey, you know, make sure you're talking to Kyle Nowak and these other guys, right?" So just think about, as you're looking to build mentors and build relationships, remember, like, don't go out there asking people for stuff. Go out there thinking, how can I put more into this world? How can I put more into their life? and you'll get it back when you go with that mentality.
I think that's what Diane said, to enhance.
Right.
So go. I'm done.
Thank you. I just want to say something real quick. It's just taking the initiative. Take that first step, that leap of faith, and you can do it. And people are willing to help you. All you have to do is ask and reach out.
I think most people are very willing to help. I would tell you that any recognition or award I have ever received is because other people reached out and helped me to do it. It was really more other people than it was me. And and that's appreciation for just people are good, I think, in general.
So when you get this mentor and they help you, Diane and Kyle, you got to give them a shout out, right? Whenever you get that award got to thank Jesus, my mama, my daddy, all you little people, right? So, but Kyle, you're a student. No, I'm an old man. I'm 48. How could I get a mentor? I don't know nothing about this whole networking, mentoring, whatever. What is the key to getting a mentor?
It's easy. Students, all you got to do is go to Handshake. And we've talked about this in other sections. It's finding jobs through Handshake. You can upload your resume, but hey, guess what? Now you can ask for a mentor. So that's awesome. I'm going to hand it over to the Director of Career Service, Miss Amy Hatmaker.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Hatmaker. I'm the Director of Career Services here at the University of Houston, Victoria. If you haven't logged into your Handshake account yet, I would strongly suggest you do so to see what you're missing, because it has some wonderful resources as well as a number of jobs. And you can also look for mentors as well. And so let me share my screen. I did put the link to get your Handshake account at the very first thing in the chat box. So if you haven't done it, go there now. Your username is going to be your student email and ID forms, so digit forms. And let me show you what it'll be like to request a mentor. When you're on the home page of Handshake, be sure to go to the Career Center. Oops, sorry. It's a little slow today. Click on Experiences. Click on Request an Experience. And you're going to look for the mentor application and the month. So say you're just moving into campus or you're just getting ready to start classes and you don't really feel like you can devote time right now. You can choose February. But if you're on fire right now, then go ahead and put January and we will work on that for you. On the job, just put mentor. And at the bottom, there's going to be a questionnaire. It will ask if you want a specific person. If so, it'll ask you who you want to talk to. If not, that's okay. It will ask what industry or profession you're wanting to look at. And then there's going to be some other questions about what are your goals? What kind of advice are you looking for? And once you fill that out and submitted it, you'll get an acceptance email from us with directions on how to contact your mentor and a handout on how to do an informational interview. So it's a super easy process. It'll get you into Handshake, get you using Handshake, and get you familiar with it. And we're so excited. We think Handshake's going to be a game changer for us, and we look forward to matching you with your mentor.
So Amy, I have a question.
Yes.
Y'all just go out and find them for the people?
Well, we have, there's over 500,000 employers in Handshake, and so we can probably connect. Now, they're not all currently connected to our university, but there are hundreds, and so we can connect to an industry. There are people, of course, in the immediate area that we have relationships with. Any of the people on the panel have all been very gracious about talking to our students, and we can just connect. We just know who to contact.
That's awesome. I think that's a great resource. I wish I'd have had that from, whenever I was doing my PhD work. I kind of flipped a coin and said, who's going to be my advisor? I guess you are. And he's like, okay, I guess I am. I made a great choice in that. So I guess one final question to the panel. We have a few minutes left. Is how has mentoring others made your life better?
Well,
This
I
is Terry.
can say that, go ahead, Terry. I'll go after you.
Oh, no problem. And I'll jump in right here with what we have on this panel. Shortly after I met Kyle, I asked him to sit down with me for coffee because he's just, as you can see, he's an absolutely amazing young man who just really wants to better himself. So I sat down with him. As I was talking to him, I realized, hey, this is somebody who needs to know Hunter Follett. So I actually sent an email to Hunter connecting the two of them. And then, of course, Crystal Lindsay is someone I know very well, and now Kyle is working with Crystal. So and I'm, as a matter of fact, getting ready to have coffee again with Kyle here very soon, over in the next couple of days. So it just makes me feel good to be able to see that somebody that I was giving advice to, help pouring into, and was helping to make connections with, that they're actually being able to put those steps in place and move their career and move their personal life forward.
Yeah, I'll add to that. When I was growing up, I think a lot of us probably had this experience. My parents fought about money a lot, and we didn't have a lot. And when I was at university, I all I could think about was, God, I got to make so much money that I never have to fight about money again. I got to make a bunch of money. That was all I could think about. And then, I had a lot of success in my professional life, and the older I get, the more I realize that money is not good for much, actually. It's a thing, you can burn it for warmth. I guess you could sew it together and make outfits out of it. But it's really the things that we do with our money that bring us that meet our needs in life. And as I got older, one of the needs that became really apparent, and one of the things that I derive a ton of value from, and I think a lot of people on these panels derive value from, is contribution. I'm not talking about giving money back, right? I mean, although, I think we all do that in our own different ways. I'm talking about the benefit you get from helping others to feel electric, in my case, right? Or in Crystal's case, teaching people the benefits of grit and gratitude and seeing the improvement in their lives. And so I wish I'd had this realization in university, and it's one of the reasons that I'm making this comment I wish I had started sooner. I wish I had realized how good it would make me feel to contribute, and how that was actually one of the biggest needs I was trying to meet by gathering wealth. And in fact, I didn't need any wealth to do it. You can find ways to contribute, at any age and with any expertise level in any subject.
I like mentoring, and I like mentoring younger individuals. And for the reason being, I'm 62 years old, and how I see the world and how somebody in their 20s and 30s and how they see the world is two different ways. And it's the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dr. Stephen Covey, he talks about a paradigm, and he said it's the lens through which you see the world. So in order for me to keep the world moving forwards, I've got to listen to the younger ones. What are they saying? How do they see the world? I saw it different than what they saw it. And so mentoring the younger ones, I just love that there, because they teach me. The mentoring sometimes I think is almost flipped. Instead of me mentoring to them, I think they're mentoring to me.
I love that, Donald. I learn so much more from my students than I know. Sure. And it's like somebody said, how do you know that? Because my students have taught me, and I understand that. Rosemary puts a great thing about President Glenn over there. Check it out in the link. It says, what I learned from a child. I think that's really great, and it's an opportunity. So as we have just a few minutes to wrap this up, lightning round questions. Oh boy, I'm out of lightning round questions. So, oh wait, that's a private message. Never mind, Woodrow. It popped up over there. All right, so as we have a few more minutes left, we're talking about mentoring, we're talking about networking, we're talking about intentional listening, we're talking about personal branding. How do those go together to help us be ready to go into the workforce?
Well, I think you've got to have a combination of all of them to be successful. You're going to find your strengths maybe in some areas easier than others. Mentoring, whether, people don't even realize they're being your mentor sometimes. I don't think any of my mentors know they're my mentors. And I look for people who are very different than me. I didn't go to law school till I was over 40. I found the students who were in their 20s were much more willing to help me figure out law school than the few that were my age. It was more of a competition. And when I took my first job in mostly a 90% male environment, I figured I had to learn pretty quick. Well, I found some of the people who were most helpful were the ones that had the least in common with me. For example, I found a salesman, he was in his 80s, he'd retired, but he loved going out to lunch with a 30-year-old woman, so I was all for it. Let him teach me what there is to know about the steel business. And he was great. Same thing with people with different backgrounds, people with different growing up backgrounds. You can, you want to identify with people, but I find the people who are the most different from you are the ones you can mentor with mutually the best.
Mhm. Yes.
Aaron, the greatest insult I've ever heard somebody levy against somebody else, and I saw it happen, and like inwardly, it just my heart just like shrunk like 3 sizes. Just it's so painful to watch. Was I saw somebody call somebody else deeply uncurious. Oh, I mean, it was like a slap to the face. I cannot imagine being called deeply uncurious. Mm. And the reason I say that is because what we're talking about with these tools, and if I could just get you guys, if I could get the people on the call to take one thing out of this, it's to have a growth mindset, right? Because in life, in every piece of life, you are either growing or you are dying. Either you're getting stronger or you're getting weaker. Either you're getting fatter, you're getting thinner. You're getting smarter, you're getting dumber, right? And these tools, what they all have in common is the people who work on these tools and the things that we present in Bridge to Brilliance have a growth mindset. And it is those with the growth mindset that inherit the earth, right? It is those who are able to adapt to any environment because they're willing to grow and learn within it, that can deal with the adversities that we face, like global pandemics or political unrest. So that's kind of what pulls it all together for me.
I like that. So Jessica says, my husband likes to call me Curious George. I like that. So as we're trying to learn and as we're trying to do this, I think Diane kind of said something about it a second ago. How long do we stick with a mentor?
Some people have mentors, the same mentor most of their lives, but I think personally that was not my experience. Although I would say my first 3 mentors were the first 30 years of my life. But since then, I've probably developed kind of the mindset that mentors are unlimited. I love Kyle's attitude. He can be a mentor for me in the area of he's not afraid. He jumped into this program. That's something to be admired. Donald is a mentor. Donald has always been there and been a supporter. I can't ever say he hasn't been anything but supportive.
So if the chat says finding a positive group appears as a punch of luck, and sometimes we should hang closely to those. So here's a question: is finding a group of positive people luck, or is it a skill we can learn through mentoring and networking?
Dr. Deason, it's absolutely a skill you can learn.
Yes.
And the earlier that you can work on that, the much better you're going to be going through the rest of your life. What you have to be really good at is making sure you call down your inner circle. Because you may have quite a few acquaintances, but that inner circle, you want to make sure those are people who are going to pour positivity into you. And that's whether they're an official mentor relationship or not. But you want those positive people close to you and keep those other people at kind of at arm's length. And don't be afraid when somebody is not pouring something positive into you and giving you something positive. Don't be afraid to kind of, again, push that person away in terms of allowing them into your space and allow in your headspace specifically.
To make them part of your circle, but not part of. I thought you said call them. I'm like, you're gonna call them? Call CULL.
Yes.
But it's kind of like I was doing a paper. It's like I wrote it. He said, okay, it's 1,000 words. Cut it down to 200. And do the same message. I'm like, wow, that was a great. And it made me write tighter. It made me write more. And that was the toughest assignment. Whenever we did it, it's like, wow. So I like that question. Thank you so much. I hope that helped you and understanding about this punch of luck and finding it and developing that skill. So y'all, it is 4 minutes. This has been excellent. I love all y'all. Y'all are just so smart, and I've learned so much in this hour about tactical empathy, about never splitting hairs, and getting your voice and having that positive growth mind. I thank you so much. So, we got a few more things to talk about, and we're going to turn it over to Crystal. Crystal Lindsay's gonna wrap this up for us and tell us what's coming up over the next couple of months.
Thank you again, Dr. D. You did a phenomenal job of navigating conversation amongst people who are leaders in their field and all have something to add. So thank you for what you're doing and everybody who's on the panel. I want to just say, yes, finding a positive group of peers can be a punch of luck. If you just stumbled upon this, congratulations, it's your lucky day. But don't rely on luck. Be intentional. See, that's why UHV has created this series, so that you can be intentional about creating an amazing life, so that you can be intentional about surrounding yourself with like-minded people who have that growth mindset that Hunter's talking about. So if you're hungry for the best version of yourself, if you want to take your life to the next level, you need to stay tuned and mark your calendar for the second Tuesday of every month, because we're coming at you at 4 o'clock, and I'm going to tell you about what we're doing. But first, I want to say the first thing you need to do before you attend those workshops is get a mentor. That's right. Pick 3 people to reach out to right now. Jim Rohn is the one who said you're the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. Think about it, especially during isolation. No, your dog doesn't count. You need to look intentionally at who are you spending your time with. So be intentional. Pick 3 mentors. Everybody on the screen right now would welcome an informational interview and want to help you grow your network, build your career, but it's not going to happen without your initiative. So make sure you do it today and reach out, because this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So with that, hopefully you're doing it. You're doing it right now, right? It's handshake. Go make it happen. But other than that, I want you to mark your calendar for Tuesday, the 26th. We have a very special workshop with you. This is a virtual workshop with VIP speaker Haley Robinson Dake, and she's going to teach you what to do after you graduate. Look, during this time, you're going to have the opportunity to engage in discussions and activities alongside your peers and really start learning the growth mindset tools we're talking about here, so you can design your way forward and navigate both your career and your life. See, you can prototype 3 different possible futures for your next 5 years. How many people here can't even prototype past lunch? This is your chance. Take the time to get the opportunity so you can embrace the ambiguity and navigate life's uncertainty and confidence, because after you graduate, life just begins. With that, we're bringing the 2nd February of Tuesday. It's going to be Own Your Future. This is a virtual workshop with VIP speaker Jeanette Winters, and this is going to teach you how to advance your career through promoting your growth mindset. You're going to own your future through leadership, responsibility, confident decision making, and you are not going to want to miss this. So make sure you register for Tuesday the 26th and Tuesday February 9th. With that, I want you to also get your career services. We learned about Handshake today. They talked about job opportunities, mentorship. Just get connected. There are opportunities here with UHV. And lastly, please fill out your survey and get your resource file. We need your feedback. We want to hear, do you like this panel format? Look, maybe we come at you every 3 or 4 workshops and bring all the panel guests on. Do you like this format? Do you want the structured workshop? Let us know what you enjoy most. We want to hear from you. And please get your resource file. I personally donated chapter 8, invest in your relationships, but make sure you get all the tools and tricks, the books that Hunter talks about, the tips that Donald brought to the table. There's so many opportunities here, so get your resource file. And with that, it's 5 o'clock, and I'll see you on the 26th.